Taoist Magic Talk Show brought to you by Taoist Master Ji Sifu and King Dragon Taoism. ผู้亮天尊 Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. This is your Ji Sifu right here. And today we got a very interesting topic because recently, if you have noticed that we are actually on TikToks, and I was kind of browsing around looking at, if you search for Taoism, what will you see? And wow, I see a lot of disaster. One of the worst experience. But anyway, I kind of expected it because I, used to see these kind of things around. And one thing that I really have to talk about today is the misunderstanding of this word Jing. In Chinese or Mandarin is Jing Qi Shen. Right? So a lot of people are misunderstanding this concept and they think, well, Jing is like it should be a sperm. So there's like people who teaches or talk about, saving up your sperm, not masturbating and turning that into your life force energy or whatever crap. And oh my God, how can people be so stupid? Anyway, it's not, okay? Jing Hei San is essence, energy, and power. So what is this concept actually about? Well, instead of just saying like, oh, they're wrong, no, this is bullshit and whatever, right? I'm going to tell you exactly what it means. So it got to be a very meaningful lecture today. I hope to keep it short, under 15 minutes. So let's try. Okay. So what is the essence that turns into energy and that turns into power? Okay. So the whole concept is about life, and life is not like you have to give birth to a baby, that kind of life. It could be like, for example, I give birth to an event, like I just painted the wall, I created a new life, a new painting. I just did a podcast, I created something new, I gave a life to my new podcast episode. That kind of life. Well, anything you do is a new creation in nature, in the history of nature, right? You fried an egg. Wow, that's a new thing in nature. It didn't happen before. Now you did it. That's a new life, new event. Okay? So this is the kind of life force that we're talking about. And what is the essence? Well, to cut it short, it's your heart energy. Okay, your heart energy, the energy heart in your energy body, right? The center power, the power in the center of your energy body, that's your heart. The heart that gives you feelings like happy, sad, like, not like, that kind of feeling. Okay, so your heart is the main essence. It contains the essence, which is like, you know what you're doing, you know what you want, and that kind of feeling. Okay, now that heart gives off the energy, gives off the essence. It turns into energy, and what this energy is referring to is your soul energy, your soul body's energy. And what does that do? Well, as I say it all the time, there are 3 different properties to the soul energy. The first one is neutral. Your neutral soul energy helps you to feel connected, feel like aligned, like you're alive. I'm awake. I am. Who am I? That kind of feeling. It keeps you conscious. Like what you're doing. You like kind of have a direction. Okay. Now the second one is the negative soul energy. It will help you to do negative things such as breaking down information, absorbing information, like remembering things, okay, or listening, watching, processing information inside yourself. That means it gives you the thinking and pondering power. So the next one, obviously, is the positive soul energy. It gives you the power to move your physical body and output the power. So, for example, you feel like the urge to pee. Well, if your soul energy is lacking, then you might pee your pants because your body cannot function properly and get your butt off the seat. So it takes energy to actually get up and do something, right? Go clean up the house, and you're like, oh, okay, and not enough energy, right? Then you won't go. You just stick on the chair. But if you have the energy, okay, yeah, let's go, and then you will go. That takes the energy. That's your soul energy. Okay, so 3 types of soul energy. That's the energy that we're talking about. Your soul energy. So the heart has the essence, which is the life force. Creates it creates the energy, which is your soul body. Now, what's the next thing? The potential power. Sun is the potential power. Okay, what is that? Well, the desire to do something, and it's like I want to cook my breakfast. Right? You haven't cooked yet, but you got that potential right there. That's the sun that you want, like a physical goal that you will achieve soon. Okay, now that's like the basic concept. So what's so special about this? As a Taoist, after you understand this basic concept, okay, the Jing Shen, this 3 concept, it actually applies to why you have to be a Taoist. So it's complicated, okay? I can teach this in like a 3 hours lecture, but I'm trying to go short, okay? So now you know this life force, this heart energy is what it takes to create new events in life. If you want your life to get better in the future, right? Like for example, I want my test to have better results. Okay, what do? I need more of that life force energy so that I can study better. Because that is like the capital, that is like the resources that generate your soul energy. Oh, I try to study, but I'm kind of like sloppy, sluggish. I don't want to move. I feel tired. Well, yeah. See, your soul energy is low. That's why you have that condition. Now, what makes soul energy? Your heart, right? If you have the heart energy, then your soul will have enough power. So replenishing the heart is very important. Let me give you an example, okay? And let's say a kid, okay? You tell the kid to like read this book, and he don't really like to do it. So his heart energy is pretty low. So he don't feel very motivated. He cannot really think and no desire to read, and his soul is very low power, right? So when he do it, it's like very slow, don't really want to read. But once you tell him, you know what, you can play this game after you read, then he's like, wow, that's something I want. See, his heart pumping, right? Then his heart is going to give off more of that essence into the soul. Then immediately he can read better because of that. You see how that actually works in normal people's lives, right? It's happening all the time. It's not that hard to understand, right? Yeah. But now let's go a step further and say, okay, someone else need help and I need to improve their lives in the future. How to do that? Well, you have to cultivate this heart energy into a container somewhere so that you can withdraw it later for another person. That's the thing that we do as Taoists, and you normal people cannot. Okay, so an example is we have an altar, right? Okay, every day we go to our altar and we cultivate. So through our methods of cultivation, we put our heart energy into the altar. By what? What method? Well, actually, it's not just a Taoist. Every religion is doing this. They are putting their faith into their God at the altar. So every day you go to your altar or religious place to do your daily routines and things like that. Like some people burn incense and talk to the God. Some people do some kind of prayer. Whatever your method is, right? You're doing it physically. And because you did it physically, the object in front of you can receive and absorb your energy from it. Now, while it absorbs that stuff inside, right, then your altar or your statue will contain those energy from you, and eventually they grouped up and get bigger and bigger. Your faith, like how much you believe this God without the need of a proof. Like, I don't need evidence. I don't need whatever. I just believe, like that kind of belief. That is faith. Okay. Now, how do you do that as a Taoist? Well, every religion is different, but as a Taoist, we have different methods. For example, the more you ask the God for help in your life, like for example, today I'm going to work and I have someone's backstabbing me. So I'm going to ask the God to help me, to protect me from the backstabbing and such like that. I have the desire. Okay, you need to have the desire for the God to help you. Now, when you have that desire, what happened? Well, you can get the help from the God. Okay? Because of this cycle, you keep getting help from the God, and then you output back your faith to the God. This cycle keeps continue. It cultivates the energy at the altar with your God. So it's like you're cultivating a pool of what we call pre-heaven energies at the altar. Now, imagine your energy body in the center, that is your heart, right? Imagine at the altar, it has the same thing, same heart at the altar, okay? It's actually started by you, and then you keep growing and growing it every day. So when someone else or you need help, this cultivated energy that you have at the altar is like the bank. You can now grab from it and put it to other places with a method that you use with your lineage or sect. So maybe like this sect used a spell, this sect used a fool or whatever, right? It's a method to communicate with that power. This is why Taoists talk about this concept of the Jing because we are cultivating more Jing inside and outside of us. Outside is at the altar, inside is in your heart. So we are doing it every day. And it's not about sex. It's not about sperm. It's not about holding back your sperm and all that nonsense. It has nothing to do with masturbation and all that stuff. It is purely about the pre-heaven energies that you have in your body, in your energy body. And everyone has it. It's your heart power, right? Every day you wake up, where does this heart power comes from? We talked about it before. If you take a guess. So every day you wake up, right? When you're sleeping, you are getting the pre-heaven energies from your Yun Sun. The Yun Sun is your spiritual planetary body. So your body right here will dump what you don't want, such as like your fear, your stress, anything that your body don't need, like the negative stuff, right? It tries to dump it to the spiritual planetary body when you're sleeping. And as an exchange, the spiritual body will, the spiritual planetary body will give you what it doesn't need. And because it's like this, what that planetary body don't need is exactly what you need. Okay, it's kind of like we don't need the CO2, we breathe out and CO2 goes out, the tree takes it, and then the tree gives us oxygen. It's kind of like that, okay? So your spiritual planetary body gives you the pre-heaven energies that you need and it doesn't need. So when you wake up, you get a refill or a recharge from this planetary body. And that thing, those goodies from the planetary body goes into your heart. Now, your heart contains it and automatically will flow through your soul body and becomes part of your soul. And that's why you wake up. The first thing is you feel awake, like you feel you're here. And secondly is you start to think. And then thirdly, you start to move. Hey, that's so simple, right? Yeah, but it goes much deeper than that. And if you are interested, you know what? Check out my ebooks on Amazon. Find 子师傅, Jee, right? Sifu, 子师傅 on Amazon, and you can see my books on Kindle. I have one on first Taoism book and one on metaphysics. They talk deeper into the subject and explain more about the 9 dimensions as well. So, how does this relate to sex? Well, again, it doesn't. It doesn't relate to sex. Okay. Now, however, I gotta warn you, there are a lot of evil spirits out there that is tricking people into sex, drugs, and all these things with the disguise of religion or religious practice. Like they label it with religious word. And what happened? Well, a lot of the guaylo, yeah, you got misleaded by these people because they get big and famous, and then you believe them, and you believe that's the qigong and all that, right? It's totally you got scammed. Because why? These evil things out there are trying to trick you into these sexual practice, and while you do it, they can loot your soul energy. Hey, guess what? Your partner that is doing it with you also get looted. And why those evil things want your soul energy so bad? Because that's what they have in that, like their world, that's like equal to their money. You know, the more soul energy they have, the stronger they get, and the more things they can make, or the more people they can control, and they just like to do that. So if you fall into any of those, like, sexual practice and things like that, and you think you're doing Taoism, quit that right away. It's definitely not Taoism. Taoism is not like that. So again, Jing Hei San this is Cantonese. Okay, Jing Qi Shen is the Mandarin. Okay, now some people think that you got to do Tai Chi to cultivate this, and it's not. Okay, doing Tai Chi may be one of the many ways, but you can do a lot of other things to cultivate the Jing Hei San. But as a Taoist, the Taoist way of cultivating the Jing Hei San is by practicing things to cultivate that heart energy into our altar, which is like the place that we farm more of this energy. And why? Because we can use it to help other people. So you can also call this the magic power, right? And it's not just from you. Imagine, okay, now take a step further back. Imagine there are generations of people before you who are cultivating this big pool of energy, and it carries on. And then the next generation, now it's you, right? So imagine that. You are dealing with a huge pool of energy that is cultivated by other people or even other gods in the other world. The god that is related to your lineage, your sect, right? They also cultivate and contribute into this big pool of resources. And you, one person, without a religion, without being a disciple, you have no idea how big that magic power is. And this is why you got to be ordained into a sect or lineage to actually touch this energy. It's not something that you sit at home and do it yourself. You cannot. It's like you cannot build a whole empire by yourself. It's done by generations of work, and it's done not just by the human being, but also by the higher beings above us. So anyway, a lot more secrets to reveal in the future. Remember to check out our TikToks. It's Tinyat Dragon Tao. Okay, so check out our TikToks, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.